How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Luke, and welcome to Mechanical Mayhem, a tournament me and my friends put on, and it has 32 robots. All the winners of the first round of 32 go to one round of 16 bracket. All the losers go to a different round of 16 bracket, and the brackets don't touch again until the finals, where the champions of both of the brackets fight for the true championship. So let's just get straight into it. Our first fight of the episode is going to be Blank versus Duck. Blank with a complete redesign after getting absolutely demolished by one of the other robots we'll see later. And Duck, just a powerful lifter, having the spring mod from the Duck team themselves. So this fight's definitely going to come down to control, so let's go down to the box and see what happens. Alright, and we're about to start, so here we go. Alright, so immediately out the gate, Blank turning around and exposing their backside to Duck, who's taking advantage pretty well. Looks like they lifted and pinned Blank. Yep, there you go. You can see that they got him. Kind of hard to see behind that pillar, but oh, there you go, turning on the screws. So you can see that Blank has some pretty quick turning speed, but the driver isn't very used to driving hex bugs, so they might make some more mistakes in this fight. You can see that they're definitely letting Duck get to their sides pretty easily. And then here we can see that Duck gets a nice ram, but Blank with a good counter shot. Ooh, that was an amazing ram by Duck with the lift as well. I think they're trying to lift Blank out of the arena right now, but that lifter's just not got that kind of strength, even with the mod from the Duck team. You can see them lifting up Blank again with all four of their wheels off the ground, even though only two of them are actually powered. Blank kind of just running into walls, looking a little dazed. Duck taking complete control of the situation. I think they've gotten hit by that spinner like once or twice this whole fight. Ooh, here's a good opportunity for Blank, and they whiff it. Duck immediately at the side again, lifting their driving wheels off the ground. Blank, not having the best time with its weapon either. It's definitely spinning at a fraction of what it should be, but they just can't capitalize. It looks like they're kind of overturning. Oh, that was a good shot there, though. And now Duck's repositioning. They lock horns, and Blank with a beautiful charge, trying to get Duck up on the screws. Oh! Let's see if Duck can get out of it. They escape, but not without losing a part of their armor. That top panel is now wedged behind the screws as they continue to charge and lift Blank. Ooh, Duck with a nice backstep to bait Blank into a ram. Now getting him in the corner. Trying to lift them, but looks like either Blank's too heavy or is just in a really inconvenient spot to lift as Duck starts to lift themselves. Now backing up, Blank coming out the corner now. You can see him just kind of spinning in place. Not doing the best driving, except for, well, here they're doing pretty good now. They have Duck pinned. Duck just flopping around, deciding that they want to do some somersaults in the middle of the match. Another good moment here where they just go head to head. Duck pushing Blank into the corner. And now Duck trying to get around to the side, and with a beautiful lift on Blank, almost getting them over. If Duck's beak was just a little bit longer, they might have had a much easier time this fight, but looks like they couldn't get Blank over, who's semi-invertible. Their weapon is their only way to self-right, but since it's not working very well, and that's the fight. Alright. What a disappointing performance from Blank, but Duck doing very well, showing that they can control a fight and they're definitely willing to go far in this tournament, and they have the ability to do so. So looking forward to seeing more of them. Alright, our next fight is going to be Whiplash and the Matador. Both very low to the ground robots. Whiplash likely faster, Matador likely with better flipping power, or topple power, I don't know, however you want to say it. They can definitely get Whiplash on their back, probably faster than Whiplash can get Matador on their back. Without further ado, let's see how this fight goes down at the box. Alright, here we go with Whiplash and the Matador.
You ready?
I believe we're about to count down. So 3, 2, 1. Actually, I don't know. I can't hear any of the audio. Alright, here we go. So Whiplash right out the gate really early, getting Matador up and on the wall. Matador having a little bit of trouble with its flipper right now. There we go, looks like they got it. Whiplash just hitting, ooh, almost out the arena with Matador. That wood is really in the way, but it's kind of needed to pop up those glass panels, as you guys might see later. Whiplash just completely dominating both the ground game and just speed. Oh my goodness, with another amazing lift and pin on Matador. Matador's struggling to do anything, really. Another lift and pin. Oh, what the heck? Whiplash got for a second. There we go, Matador's back to life. Just launched their flipper. I do believe Matador has a problem where its flipper can get a little too low to the ground and pick its back wheels off the ground, but it's four-wheel drive, so that shouldn't matter too much. I see Whiplash just taking a little bit of time here. Ooh, a perfect opportunity for Matador, and Whiplash escapes unflipped. Matador's speed might really be, or I guess lack of speed might really be hindering it this fight, as Whiplash can just completely dominate it so far. We're hoping for Matador to at least like point towards Whiplash to get a good flip in or something. But right now Whiplash has just gone to the sides and the back of Matador pretty much at will. Oh, we can see him almost getting Matador out of the arena with several lifts. I mean, try to keep count. I've already lost count. I don't even know how many lifts this is. Matador finally facing Whiplash, but Whiplash is just too fast to just go right back to the side, go back to work. Not losing any panels, not losing anything. Whiplash is just completely dominating this fight. It's going to take a miracle at this point for Matador to get back in the fight. They're going to have to flip Whiplash out of the arena or something. Whiplash with another great lift on Matador. As we close down to the final 30 seconds. Just right back to the backside of Matador. Whiplash is just completely dominant. I don't even think Matador's gonna flip this entire match. Oh, they have a good opportunity here. They're face to face. But Whiplash just getting under Matador, not giving him any kind of chance. So we come down to about the final 10 seconds here. Matador's last couple attempts at flipping Whiplash. Oh, they got a grab on him. So at this point, Matador is more so a grabber than a flipper. And it looks like that's the fight. So that was a dominant performance by Whiplash. Oh my goodness. Whiplash definitely putting on a very strong performance there. Matador not really able to do much since Whiplash was just too fast for them to get in good position. They'll definitely need to be upgraded with some better motors for their drive in the future just to keep up. But good showing from Whiplash. Our next fight is going to be Topple versus Maximizer. Topple, a very rushed together beetle lifter, versus Maximizer, a very rushed together horizontal spinner with a wedge on the back from NHRL. So without further ado, let's see how this fight goes down out of the box. Alright, we got Topple and Maximizer in the ring. I'm not gonna lie, this fight might be a little more boring, but here we go. So Maximizer immediately spinning, not even spinning up its weapon. Topple just trying to figure out how to attack this thing. There goes Maximizer's weapon. Ooh, Topple with a good pin against the wall with Maximizer. That's the thing, Maximizer is so long that if you pin it in the corner, it can't really get out of it too easily. But Maximizer doing a good maneuver, just spinning, just kind of swatting away Topple, whose lifting arm seems to be not the most powerful. I'm not even sure if it can lift. It keeps missing as well. Using it as a hammer. Here we go, we can see. And no, Topple's lifter just cannot lift Maximizer. I think it needs probably some more work. It might be too heavy or something. That lifting arm is just unable to hoist Maximizer where it needs to.
Yeah, we're just gonna separate them.
Right. Looks like we're unsticking. Alright. Back to it. Maximizer just continuously spinning in place, just not giving Topple a chance to like lift or grab or pin or anything. both robots just kind of sitting there now. Alright, and looks like Maximizer's creating some space. Topple trying to chase. Maximizer kind of got to the back of Topple there. Maximizer just sitting and spinning. That's all they really need to do at this point. I mean, at this point, as long as they don't do something stupid, they probably have this one in the bag since Topple just can't really do much. Ooh, it looks like Topple's fork got stuck under the wall of the arena. Let's see if Maximizer will help him or not. Yes, they will. Alright. Topple trying to do something, but I think Maximizer actually has a better drivetrain as well rather than Topple. Meaning that Topple really can't do much at all. They're kind of a punching bag in the arena right now. Maximizer leading with that back. Topple's just trying to find something to do.
45 seconds.
Almost got a lift in there. Ooh, is Maximizer's weapon down? Now we can see it spinning back up. I believe Maximizer was another one of those robots that, for some reason, the weapon just started performing worse the longer it fought. It does use one of the seizure motors from Chaotic Robotics' robot Seizure. A lot of these robots actually do. Here we go. Approaching the final 10-15 seconds of the fight. Topple with a really good last attempt to lift Maximizer, getting it about a couple millimeters off the ground. And just kind of hitting it over the head again and again. And it looks like that's the fight. Topple looking like they think they won it when they clearly did not. I mean, it was a good fight, all things considered. Maximizer did end up pulling the win. Topple definitely needing to have either a lighter flipper or just more power going to that lifter. But good job to Maximizer. Let's hope that they can actually get their gremlins worked out too for their next fight. And Topple, we'll see them in the losers bracket. Next up we have Cage and Geometry. Two very similar robots. Geometry is just at an angle with rotator wheels, and Cage is just a tombstone with a wedge on the front. They both have some pretty powerful weapons. Cage with just that stock cage spinner, and Geometry sporting a pretty good bar with the rake angle. And they're definitely looking to do some damage. Hopefully they can get to that wedge on Cage. But without further ado, let's see how they do down at the box.
3, 2, 1.
And we are underway with Geometry versus Cage, and right out the gate, ooh, a big hit from Geometry. Looking like Cage is trying to push him, but Geometry with those rotator wheels just has a better, much more pushing power. Looks like Cage is kind of stuck against the wall, so they can't spin up. And another good exchange. These are very similar robots, just one's a cage spinner, the other's an overhead angled. Looking like Geometry is kind of a little out of control, but Cage is kind of failing to keep up with them. These robots, ooh, that was a good hit there. These robots both have some pretty decent weapons. Geometry's might be a little bit better. As you can see, it kind of just carried Cage there with the rake angle in its bar. They might do that a couple more times throughout the fight. But Cage definitely has the wedge needed to deflect Geometry if anything were to happen. But it looks like they're just kind of locking weapons and just kind of going into a shoving match. Geometry definitely now looking much more controlled and stable than before, as it was kind of just driving all around the place. Kind of like that. Cage either is just sitting and waiting for Geometry to push. Ooh, good shove by Geometry, getting near those screws with Cage. Let's see if they can make anything of it here. Cage pushing back, looking like they got away from the screws. I can't tell what's happening. Alright, there we go. Looks like Geometry got stuck against the wall, so did Cage. Both look pretty spun up. Cage is no longer spinning up. Is Cage's weapon broken? Nope, they got it back up right as I said it. Alright, Geometry just trying to push around. Cage actually doing a pretty good job at defending. This is a fairly good fight so far. Cage trying to get a side shot. Geometry catching their weapon again. It looks like Geometry's getting a good push in, constantly stopping Cage's weapon. And oh, that might be the end of the fight. Cage is up in the screws by the tooth of its weapon. Geometry's trying to help him, saying let's keep the fight going. But I don't think Cage is going to be able to get out of that. Yeah, and that's the fight. Oh, and Cage gets out right at the end. That's terrible. That was a surprisingly good fight for these robots. I mean, they're definitely some middle-of-the-road robots, but that was a good fight. Geometry just kind of catching Cage's weapon, and definitely pulling away with the knockout there, getting Cage up in the screws. That was definitely very impressive since neither of these robots are really big on control. Without further ado, let's go to our next fight, which is Bullet Ant and Bronco. Bullet Ant, a pretty solid Whiplash with invertibility and a pretty nice weapon to go with. They have been known to have weapon problems in the past, but they should have them all ironed out actually. And Bronco, stock Bronco with Whiplash motors for their drive, and if you could see that little black thing there, that is the radio receiver. That's usually under the flipper. I moved it out to the side so it can actually not be blocked and interact with the controller more, so it should definitely drive better. So without further ado, let's go down to the box and see how they do. Alright, and here we go with Bullet Ant and Bronco. Bronco, former champion of an unfilmed event with 32 other robots. Since then, though, all of these robots have either gotten 3D printed parts or just are completely 3D printed. So here we can see that even though Bronco does have... Oh, Bronco's flipper was stuck with glue, so I just went ahead and unstuck it there. But it looks like Bronco, even with new drive motors, making it much faster, was kind of struggling on the ground. Might have some glue under it or something, just keeping it high-centered. Bullet Ant kind of just punching it slightly. Bullet Ant's weapon not as powerful as would be desired, but I mean, still had enough to do a pretty good job. It does need its drive worked on though as well, but clearly its drive is better than Bronco here. You can see that little black dot next to Bronco's flipper is actually the controller receiver, so it's moved from under the flipper to the side, so it can hopefully drive a little better, but if you're not touching the ground with your wheels, then you can't really drive a lot better. Bullet Ant getting to the side of Bronco with ease, a nice little pop there. Ooh, and a good hit there from Bullet Ant. Bronco's just kind of a sitting duck so far, but I mean, Bronco is known to wait a couple of minutes before getting that desperately needed flip to change the tides in a fight. But Bullet Ant's just proving to be quite a nuisance from here. You can see Bullet Ant has one of those wedges in kind of to offset their ground game. So they can either choose to go in with or without ground game, which is a good decision against the flipper. Trying to get to the side of Bronco, who's finally starting to wake up, not letting them get to the side as easily. Missing a flip there. Bronco with what looks like their flipper stuck to be up. Oh, there they go. Man, I keep just accidentally jinxing robots into fixing themselves. Good little shot there from Bullet Ant. Bronco driving to the other side of the arena. Ooh, with a good attempt flip there, but they whiff. Bullet Ant not afraid to go at the front of Bronco at this point. I think at this point they're pretty confident, and they got a pin there. Bronco barely moving at this point. Another whiff. No flips landed so far, and we're already 2.5 minutes into the fight. They finally get a good charge in the face of Bullet Ant, but they just can't deliver that flip. Bullet Ant just continuing to drive around them, just kind of taking their time, they know at this point they've pretty much got the fight in the bag. They just need to stay alive. They can, for the most part, drive upside down, but um, they didn't need to at all this fight. I believe that's about the end of the fight right there. And yeah. Oh wait, no. There we go. Hold up. Yeah, that's the end of the fight. Well, I said that Bronco should drive better, not that it would drive better. But all things considered, Bullet Ant definitely did a good performance. Bronco's definitely gonna have to come back to the losers bracket. They are definitely a former champion, winning the last 32 robot tournament me and my friends did. So they've done this before, losing their first fight and winning all their others. So hopefully they can do the same here. Without further ado, let's go to our next fight. Our next fight is Endgame and Swiss. Endgame, a very beautiful recreation or replica, sorry, of the 250-pound robot from the show BattleBots and from New Zealand. And Swiss is a Swiss Army robot where they can either have a spinner or a flipper. Let's see which one they go with down at the box.
Ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
Alright, and here we go with Endgame and Swiss right out the gate. Swiss looks to be charging Endgame, who's seeming to be a little slow to start. Swiss is the robot with both a spinner and a flipper that they can interchange, kind of like Ribot from the show BattleBots. Speaking of the show BattleBots, this is a beautiful Endgame model. Thank you to my mom for helping paint the top panel. It's absolutely gorgeous. Endgame driving backwards, kind of getting Swiss hung up on their backside. Perfect height to get the wheels of Swiss off the ground. Endgame definitely having some drive issues with that front right wheel. Kind of barely able to move with it. Swiss trying to hit, but that weapon is definitely not optimized for bite. So the spinner is just kind of stopping when it hits Endgame. Neither of these robots really capable currently of doing big damage. So it's all about control and aggression, which so far is definitely being led by Swiss. Endgame now with a really good push. Their right wheel seems to have gone at least better, as they can now just easily push Swiss into the back. I wonder if it's a weight distribution issue or something. You can see Swiss getting spun up for another big hit. And that spinner just kind of dies when it touches anything. They're definitely going to need to improve that for next time. Here we go. Endgame kind of just trying to crab walk to it with a good shot on Swiss, who's now running away trying to get that weapon spun up. Alright, driving circles around Endgame, who's gone back to just crab walking. Kind of scooping up Swiss now. Swiss trying to get a good hit. Doing pretty good despite its lack of weapon power. I wonder if the flipper would have been better here, as Endgame does have that self-rider. So it might have been a smarter move to just go for a brawl with the spinner. Endgame with a good shove into the wall here. And Swiss gets away. Endgame backing up. It seems Endgame does better driving backwards than forwards, which is really interesting. Keeping Swiss from spinning up again. But Swiss gets away, up to speed. And they... Aw, man. Went weapon to weapon with Endgame, and both weapons just stopped. Just not able to properly transfer that energy. They probably need some more mass behind their weapons, or speed. I think Endgame needs speed, and Swiss needs mass. Or just a better tooth configuration, because those are Legos with screws in them to try to give some metal contact point, but it's just not enough. Even with, I believe it has pennies under the shell. Ooh, is a weapon stopped working? Oh no, wait, that's just the end of the fight. Okay. Looks like Swiss is likely gonna take it. You can see my dog in the background. I think everyone's just trying to agree on who won that. But that was a good showing of Endgame's durability and Swiss's, well, both of their durabilities, really. But it looks like Swiss is going to take that indeed.
Maybe it's the fact that
So definitely a little slower paced fight than usual. Swiss not able to really land. I mean, neither of these robots able to really land a good hit. It seemed like Endgame's weapon had rubbing against the side of the weapon mounts, and Swiss just couldn't deliver all its energy for one reason or another. It might be those teeth that are hurting it. I'm not too sure. But good job to Swiss. They get the win, and Endgame. Hopefully, they can do a little bit better in the losers bracket against Bronco. So without further ado, let's go to our next fight. The Claw versus Screwhead. The Claw is just a standard build your own robot with a plow on the back, claws at the front, and a hammer. And Screwjob is a completely custom shell spinner made by me for my friend, who I helped design. This kind of Screwhead is the robot that retired the original version of Blank, and is by far one of my, if not my heaviest hitter I have. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see them. Let's go ahead and watch them down at the box.
I'm not that smart. Alright, 3, 2, 1, go.
And we're off with the Claw and Screwhead, the shell spinner. Screwhead's having some radio problems here. You can see the driver moving to the side, getting it spun up. You can see the Claw is having some problems with its hammer. Screwhead's moving. Ooh, man, nasty hit against the side of the arena. You can see Claw's kind of debating whether or not they even want to engage. It looks like Screwhead's not moving. Ooh, oh man. The Claw finally just backs up into Screwhead with that plow. And Screwhead just completely flips over. And it looks like that's just going to be the fight.
10, 9, no way. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3,
are either of them
2, 1.
Oh, but that's my choice.
That's a knockout.
Yeah. No way.
Okay.
Man, what a disappointing showing from Screwhead. I was so excited to see the Claw get torn to shreds, but alas, it just didn't happen. And you could see that Screwhead does have some radio problems when it's fully spun up. So hopefully they can get those figured out, and we can see him down in the losers bracket. But the Claw definitely looking like a powerful force. I mean, taking no damage and controlling that fight pretty well. They do need to get their hammer back in commission. So hopefully they can do that. But without further ado, let's go to the next fight. Hypershock versus Hammerhead. Except for the fact that I'm a little stupid and I forgot to charge all these robots until an hour before the event took place. And Hammerhead was the one robot I forgot to charge. So in their place, Hypershock will be fighting Bastille, a shortened Bronco with platinum drive motors. Kind of a work in progress. It was very last minute. So hopefully they won't have any problems, but they have a pretty good flipper and whatnot, so let's see how they do down at the box.
Ready? Yeah, set, go.
And here we go with Hypershock and Bastille, who is subbing in for Hammerhead, who I forgot to charge, my bad. Looks like right out the gate, Bastille's having problems with that left front wheel, unable to drive forward. Looks like they're trying to just flip it into place. Hypershock's forks coming up. They're practically hinged at this point, even though they're supposed to be fixed. Bastille kind of trying to move. Hypershock is trying to figure out how to attack it now that it doesn't have its forks. Bastille with a good grab there. Hypershock is able to get out. Looks like Hypershock's forks are pretty much completely vertical now. Much more and they'll probably just fall off. Oh man, a beautiful ram by Hypershock while Bastille was flipping. Bastille got off the wall there. Hypershock's just kind of keeping him in the corner. Bastille not moving very much, but I think it's just enough to avoid a count out. Hypershock hanging back, just deciding when to choose their attacks. Bastille with a pretty good flip there, but it was kind of more of a launch since Hypershock didn't really... Oh man, what the... Hypershock driving up on the wall. Hypershock does not have any kind of LiPo battery. And oh man, a beautiful flip there for Bastille. Hypershock not moving. Are they going to get counted out? Or are they going to start moving? Because Hypershocks are naturally invertible. And there they go. Hypershock upside down, just trying to figure out what to do, trying to
Well, I'm not gonna
realize how they're gonna start approaching this fight upside down now. Bastile's still just barely moving enough. Oh, there goes one of Hypershock's forks. Hypershock's stuck in the corner. Alright, they back up. They might be having some radio issues now that they're upside down with that receiver pointed towards the floor. Bastille, despite only having one wheel this whole fight, is actually doing a pretty good job keeping pointed forward at Hypershock. Hypershock just kind of going around the arena kind of crazily, just trying to figure out what to do. I think they're trying to ram against the wall and flip themselves over. While some robots can do that, I'm not too sure that Hypershock has the weapon strength. And there they go with the risk of the screws. That either pays off very well or very bad, and they got lucky there. It was a good gamble for them. Bastille not really moving anymore. You can see the driver trying on the right side. Oh man, Bastille with almost another perfect flip. Hypershock's just a little too quick, and oh my goodness, what on earth happened there? Bastille flipping off their own flipper. Well, it looks like Bastille's kind of screwed here. I mean, all they got is, you know, the drive, but that was the end of the fight, so it happened last second. Thank goodness for them. Yeah, you could definitely tell that Bastille was a work in progress. Both of these robots actually taking damage with Hypershock needing to re-glue its forks after the fight, and Bastille, well, it was a push spot at the end of the fight with one wheel working, so it didn't do too well. Hypershock with that amazing gamble that really paid off with the screws, definitely won them the fight, so we will see Bastille in the losers bracket and Hypershock in the winners bracket. Anyhow, that's going to be it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed, give it a like. If you didn't enjoy, go ahead, give it a dislike. If you have any feedback, leave it in the comments below, or if you just want to say something fun about the tournament. Anyway, I will see you guys next time to continue the second half of the round of 32. Bye!